But here's the ironic thing. We marry someone because they love them, and then the Bible has to tell us to love them. Isn't that weird? We marry someone because we love them, and the Bible has to come along and say, love your spouse. Love her. Love her, guys. Love your spouse. Why does the Bible have to tell us to do what we already do? Unless there is this capacity to love someone in your heart and yet not love them with your actions. Hello? It is possible to say, I love this person. I really want to spend my life with them, but I am not living in a love for them. They don't feel my love. We're just sort of roommates. Or we share a budget, or we share a house, but there's not a lot of love going on here. I believe that if you took all the negative things that your spouse has ever said to you and you put them in one big pile, almost all of that pile could be translated with this one statement: you are not loving me the way I need to be loved. All the criticism, all the put-downs, all the elbows, all the negative stuff he or she is saying to you, most of it can be translated by simply this statement: you don't love me the way I need to be loved. You may be loving me in the way you need to be loved, but you don't love me the way I need to be loved. And it is so frustrating. Paul teaches us to love our spouses in two ways. He said we should love our spouses sacrificially. Husbands, love your wives. I'm pretty sure he meant wives, love your husbands too. But anyway, he said husbands. Just as Christ loved the church and gave himself up for it. So that's a sacrificial love. That the best kind of marital love is a sacrificial love where I'm not trying to get my way all the time. I'm trying to love sacrificially. This is how Jesus loves his bride, the church. So it is a sacrificial kind of love where I am willing to sacrifice whatever needs to be sacrificed for the benefit of the one being loved. Secondly, he told us to love our spouses with gentleness. With gentleness. Husbands, again, he's picking on the husbands, but surely it means both, right? Love your wives and do not be harsh with them. Love with gentleness. Did you ever hear someone speak disrespectfully to their spouse? You ever hear a guy talk to his wife and he speaks down to her because he's the man? I put that woman in place. Right? He barks at her, and she's perhaps intimidated by him, and he thinks that makes him out to be a man. He doesn't realize that when we look at him and listen to him, we think less of him. We think there's a man who has no spiritual depth to him. There's a man who doesn't understand Christ's love for the church. He's harsh. You ever notice how sometimes spouses, both male and female, can get so sharp-tongued with each other? Have you ever noticed that? Just gently nod. And to that, Paul says, don't be harsh with each other. That's not the way you want this thing to go. You see, please remember this. Tweet it, Facebook it, whatever you have to do to remember it. Closeness, and that's why we get married, isn't it? To be very, very close to someone. Takes place in the context of safety.